Alright, what's up, man? Another episode, another week in the books. If you notice, this series, the first video in this series, it was called Free Game Friday, but I decided to rebrand it and call it Access Granted. And the reason I decided to call it Access Granted, hold up, pause. Shout out to the dude at the little market across the street from my apartment. He's selling these Hawaiian donuts. Support black business, man. But I decided to rename it Access Granted because, like I feel like knowledge and like learning stuff, that's the way you get ahead in the world. Like you can't get ahead if you don't know nothing, basically. I don't want to go too deep into it, but the knowledge of things gives you access to things. No matter what that knowledge may be. Like you never know what little piece of knowledge or information could like take you to the next level. And that's why this series just be a bunch of random stuff, like random facts, thoughts, little lessons, because you never know what could like put somebody over the hump. You feel me? So I feel like I'm giving people access, I'm giving people gain. So it's called Access Granted. But yeah, let's get into it. Took my notes throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? We right here with it. Everything I'm gonna talk about today. So, all right. Oh, all right. So content creation, right? The cool thing about content creation is that it's an ever expanding market. Like, for one, is new people being born every day. So you always got the unique chance to like capture your own unique audience, right? And also, it's like streaming. It's like just because you watch this person don't mean you not gonna watch this other person. Like it ain't mutually exclusive. So like it ain't like a space can get crowded because people can choose to watch whoever they want to watch. Like I watch different people on YouTube for different things, and I'm pretty sure y'all watch different people on YouTube for different things. So like, if you ever thought about getting into content creation and you be like, oh man, it's the market saturated or it's already enough people doing that, bro. If you find your own unique little thing that you like to do or whatever, man, people gonna gravitate towards that, and it ain't really nothing stopping them from watching your stuff and somebody else's stuff. That's what's cool about content creation in my eyes. It ain't nothing really stopping you from gaining an audience. For sure. So I live in Austin, Texas, right? I've been out here for about 2 years. Well, a little over 2 years now, because I moved out here in like June of 2021. June of 2022, my fault. So recently, I was in like an adult basketball league with these guys from my gym that I work out at. So I learned a couple lessons from playing in that basketball, in that league. But it was more so the particular team I was on that taught me the lessons versus like just playing in the actual league, right? So first thing, I learned a lesson about being humble. So if you know, I got my other series where I read the Bible. As a matter of fact, I don't have it with me right now. I don't think. Where's my blue notebook? I ain't got it with me right now. I don't know where it's at. But I was reading the Bible, and there was so quick little story time. So when the season first started off, I wasn't really playing well. So there was this guy on the team. He a troll, and he just say stuff any chance he get, right? And he kept bothering me about it. So me, I'm not gonna fold on the pressure. You feel me? Like I started getting in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Every morning, I'm in the gym for 3 hours straight, lifting weights and working on my game. So I done put together a little basketball routine, a little regimen and all. And I was doing it every morning faithfully. And I was starting to see my game improve, right? Not immediately in like game time because I didn't play that much. But, you know, so in my head every morning, I'm like, bro, I'm about to shit on this nigga, bro. I'm about to come up, man. I'm about to flex on this nigga. Like, bro, I'm about to get in the game and go dumb. Right? Like that's the mentality I'm developing. That's you know what I'm saying? So as I'm going to the gym. And I say after about 2 weeks, you know, something happened. So I was reading the Bible or whatever, and there was a story about, I think it was either Joseph or Jacob. I can't remember. I know it was one of the two J names. But it was a part about where he had the dream that his brothers would bow down to him, and his brothers weren't really fucking with him for that. And, you know, I forgot what happened. Like something happened to him, but they went and told everybody he died, and they dipped his clothes in like some blood, and told their dad like he had died or something, like an animal came and killed him or something. But what really happened was he went somewhere and he became like the leader of this land or whatever. And as he became the leader of this land, he like there was a surplus. So God told him there was gonna be a surplus of like 7 years, and then like a famine would come. But so he told him to start storing stuff up. So when the famine came across the whole land, he was straight. Him and his people was straight. But his brothers and them and their dad, like they was going through it because the famine hit and they had no food. So their dad told them to travel to this land and ask the leader of that land, which was their brother, but they didn't know. They didn't know it was their brother. They didn't know it was Jacob or Joseph. I'm gonna just say Jacob, but so they didn't know it was Jacob, right? So they go there and they asking him for food and stuff. And like they didn't recognize him, but he recognized them or whatever. And he was still like nice to them. Like he actually treated them better than like everybody else that was around at the time or whatever. And I saw that and I was like, man, I had the moment in my head, I was like, damn, bro was being humble. Like bro still treated them nice. He still treated them good. Like he ain't shit on them. And I was like, you know what? The moment I do have my breakout moment and I start playing well, I can't shit on, bro. I'm not gonna do that. I ain't gonna be that type of person. And that same week, nigga, I went crazy, boy. I'm talking about, man, I'm going down there. Bro, I hit this one dude with something and he grabbed me. I went and I flicked that bitch up. It was like a little reverse and that bitch dropped in water. I'm hitting all my free throws. I remember this other possession. I came down. This is other nigga. He on the left of me. He hit the corner. We on the fast break. Man, I said, fuck that nigga. I came, boom, hit a step back on the fast break at the free throw line, pull up, cash, fade away. I'm going crazy. You feel me? So that was just a little lesson on being humble, right? And the second lesson I learned was about leadership. So our team, so we ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs, right? But let me walk y'all through the story of like how the season went, right? So if you ask me, I feel like honestly, we had the best team out of the entire league. Like we had the best players. Like we had the most potential. But where our downfall was, we didn't have clear, concise, and competent leadership on the team. And it's not a knock to nobody because this is everybody's first year playing together. Like even though I just got here and they all knew each other already, none of them had ever still like played together on a team. And you know, when the season first started, we were just playing teams that we were just flat out better than. You know, they didn't have the players or the coaching to beat us. Like they didn't have shit relative to us. But as the season went on, we started playing teams who actually matched up better to us, like player-wise. You know? And it took, and like as I'm watching, remember I sat on the bench a lot. So I'm watching the game from a third person point of view. Like I say, everybody knows each other except for me for real. Like I know them now because I've been around them, but like they've been knowing each other longer than I've known them. So I'm watching it like from an unbiased point of view. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching. And me, like I'm a real analytical person. Like I was always smart growing up. I can figure out patterns and break down like processes and stuff. Like I like stuff like that. Like I remember I took a class in college where you like figure out like the bottlenecks of stuff and processes and systems and how stuff work together. And I really enjoyed that class. Like it was interesting to me. So like I'm that type of person. So I'm watching and I'm like, I'm seeing everything that's wrong, but I don't have as strong a voice on the team. You know, don't nobody really know me like that. So I ain't really speaking up on it for real, but I'm just watching. And we had already planned to like play another season together. So in my head, I'm like, all right, I'll just wait till the end of the season and to say something. So, but as we playing, like later on in the season, we start playing teams that actually match up to us better, like physically, like player-wise. But I noticed they had to play their best basketball to beat us. You know what I'm saying? And like in those games when we lost, we would really beat ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we just got it, like the leadership of our team, like we got exposed in the fact that I don't think anybody else noticed it but me, but it's like the lack of leadership, the lack of coaching, the lack of cohesion, and the lack of a clear plan and stuff that really showed when we played teams that matched up better, like matched up to us better. You know what I'm saying? So, because personally, I feel like our strengths were that we had like the biggest team in the league, so we could actually like what I feel like we should have done was like, well, I'm not even gonna get into that. This ain't no basketball video. If y'all want to hear that, what I feel like, man, I'll drop another video. But yeah, so it ain't about, you know what I'm saying, getting the best people all the time. Like leadership is important. You know what I'm saying? And having a plan. That's really the moral of it. You feel me? All right. So I wrote down like barbering, like cutting hair, because I can cut my own hair. Okay. I remember what I was gonna say. So developing skills in life, and it don't matter what it is, like those can bring you connections or like bring you things that you never really thought, or like, you know what I'm saying, help you out in little ways. Like me taking the time during COVID to learn how to cut my own hair. I know it don't look like it, cause you know I don't really be caring. That's another thing, but I think I got that point. Actually, that's the next point on my thing, so I'll get to that later. Being able to cut hair afforded me like some opportunities. Like it allowed me to meet some people. While I was out here, like I made a couple of connections just off cutting hair. Like I met a couple of guys because one dude, he had also just moved out here, and he asked me where I got my hair cut at, and I told him I cut it myself, and I ended up getting cool with him and his cousin because I could cut hair, so I started cutting him and his cousin hair. And I cut a couple of guys on the little basketball team. I cut a couple of their hair too. So, you know, you get to a skill and you get good at it, bro. Okay, I don't have a barber license. I'm self-taught. But that can just take you places in life, or like, you know, and say make you some connections that you otherwise wouldn't have had. And they put a little bit of money in my pocket. Like obviously, I wasn't in a barber shop like cutting every day, but every now and then, little Friday or Saturday, niggas come through, get a haircut, because I'm only charging niggas like $20. You know, nowadays haircuts $50, $60, $70, $100. So I'm coming through giving nigga a decent cut for $20. You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna come up. So on the weekend, I could bring a smooth $20, $40, maybe $60 through if 3 people come that week. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. But the next point was, you notice how I said, like, most of the time I don't have a haircut. And it's because, bro, I know I can get fresh whenever I need to. So the point I'm saying is, like, what I say? So this is what I wrote down. When you know you can do it whenever you want, you don't care to do it all the time. And that translates to, like, a lot of things, like money. Like, if you see somebody, like, flexing all the time and putting money all in the camera and all that stuff, like, you must not be used to this, or you must ain't, like, Basically, like, man, you act like you been here before. You feel me? Like, you feel in control. Like, you don't feel a sense of urgency or nothing. Like, if I relate it back to the haircut, some niggas get haircut every 2 weeks or every week because they know they got to stay fresh, because you never know what life going to bring you. Like, you never know when your partner going to hit you up and be like, hey, bro, I got these hoes. Or, hey, bro, we going to this party. Or, hey, bro, I'm trying to go on this trip. Or, like, hey, bro, they got this little festival downtown at 3 o'clock, and it's already, you know, that might be, it might be on a Friday. It might be Thursday night. Or it might be Friday already. It might be 12 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And you can just go cut yours. Like, so I don't really be feeling the need to cut my hair all the time, because I know I can cut it when I need to. So yeah. Oh, okay. Who influences me? I had this thought. So honestly, my 2 biggest influences in life, or the way I live my life, and y'all will learn more about me as time goes on, but it's 2 guys, man. It's Wall Street Trapper. If you know who Wall Street Trapper is, you know what type of man he is in the not only in the financial space, but just in the way of, like, let's say, just being a man and handling responsibilities and being disciplined and like having a certain outlook on the world. You know what I'm saying? If you watch Trapper Tuesdays, you know, like, what he about and what type of person he is. So he just influenced me to, like, shit, weather the storm, you know, go hard, try to build something, be better than, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And my second influence is the rapper Money Man, right? But if you listen to Money Man and you know who Money Man is, if you follow him, you know he ain't your typical rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he make music or whatever, but he's really like a modern day Renaissance man. And he's a very intellectual guy. Like, he takes in a lot of information. Like, he understands the value of learning, and he puts it in his music. And when I say he's a modern day Renaissance man, he puts his hands in a lot of different things in life. And I feel like that's the type of man I want to be. Like, I want to have a lot of different skill sets. I want to know of a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to do a lot for the people around me. I just want to be able to understand what's going on in the world around me, no matter what it is. Like, I just got. Oh, so okay. So y'all finna get a sneak peek. Y'all finna see the books I just bought yesterday, because it's Saturday morning right now. So I bought them yesterday, Friday. So I just got a couple of books in. But the book that made me think about this was this book right here. It's called Mr. Putin, right? It's about Vladimir Putin. And I was like, I just want to be well versed in life. Like, I just want to have knowledge of different things. So I don't know when I'm gonna get around to reading this. I'm gonna make a collection of books. I got my book collection. But yeah, so I got this book yesterday. I got this book, Edgar Allan Poe. If you don't know, he's a poet. It's the illustrated tales of Edgar Allan Poe. And I also got the illustrated tales of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes was a fine nigga from, like, the stuff I be hearing. So I was like, man, let me, you know. Because I got these, I was walking out and they just caught my eye. It was like $10 and, like, you get the other one 50% off. And I was like, this might just be some extra stuff to read in my free time. And then my guy, Robert Greene, I got 2 more of his books. The Art of Seduction and the Laws of Human Nature. If you know Robert Greene, man, if you know, my dog. I'm almost done with his book, Mastery. If you know this one right here, I'm almost done with it. I'm on page 289 or 288 or something. So yeah, I'm almost done with this. But yeah, Money Man, he's just a well-versed guy in a lot of different fields, and he just inspires me to learn stuff. You know what I'm saying? So those are my 2 biggest influences in life right now, as it pertains to, like, the things I do in life, how I look at life. I'll say, not necessarily what I do. I wrote down this word, synesthesia. I forgot what it means. Synesthesia is a perceptual phenomenon in which simulation of sensory cognitive impact. Oh, so synesthesia is like when people, like when a number of your different senses are connected in a sense of, like, so you ever seen somebody when they're, like, reading or, like, they're thinking about something, they might have like a little ball in their hands or something, or they might fidget, like people click pens or stuff like that. So I was reading the book Mastery, and there was I forgot who it was. I want to say it was Thomas Edison, but I could be wrong. But I think he like went to one of his like friends' houses or something, and the guy was out at the moment, but he just went in the house to like go sit at his desk, like sit at the guy's desk and chill or whatever till he got back. And he was like, "Damn, bro, something stink." Or whatever. And he opened the drawer and the dude had like a bunch of rotten apples or something like in his drawer. And he asked the dude's wife, he was like, "Man, what bro got going on?" You feel me? And she was like, "Oh, that should just help bro think. Like whenever he smell that smell, it just help his brain work." I just thought that was like an interesting thing. Like, you feel me? And that word is synesthesia. 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 Another little random fact. Australia has one of the world's most online population. So 4/5, that's 4 out of 5, of the 26 million people use social media. And I learned that because I was reading about Facebook. And like I was reading some news and stuff because that relates to them. It relates to them because Australia is planning like a social media, like having a minimum age requirement to be able to use social media, and that affects Facebook's business model because Facebook owns social media platforms like Meta, and then they have Facebook and Instagram. You know, they also own WhatsApp and stuff like that. So this is a random little fact. Another random little fact, Google, they get over 150,000 ad sales per second. 150,000 ad sales per second. Per second. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. This was something I thought about. I think I saw it somewhere. And I thought it was so true. It says, most people are only loyal to their circumstances. And that's true for a lot of things, bro. Like, you think people really be messing with you, or you think they're really your dog or whatever. Man, let whatever reason they mess with you, or like let some certain circumstance of the situation that y'all dealing with each other in change. And watch how things change or how they mess with you. My homeboy just went through something like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna talk about the situation. It ain't nothing super like private. It ain't really no need to put it out there. But that shit really be facts. You know what I'm saying? Another interesting thing I learned. So this guy named V.S. Ramachandran, he got a funny name, V.S. Ramachandran. So he was doing research on phantom limb, like the phantom limb syndrome. So say you get say you get your arm cut off or whatever, from the elbow, like from right above the elbow, right? So what the thing is like people who get limbs amputated, they can still they'll still feel pain in their hand, even though it's like the hand no longer there. So he did like an experiment, and he was trying to figure out how to stop it or whatever. And he did something so simple. And this is also in this book right here. But basically what he did was he got a cardboard box and he put a mirror in it. And he had them put like their arm, like let's say it was an arm. They'll put their whole good arm in the box. And then they'll turn it to where like it'll look like this arm, the arm that's still there, is in place of the arm that's missing. And it'll like trigger something in their brain, and it'll like stop them from having those feelings like of pain in their hand, you know what I'm saying? Or like whatever limb it was. And he made like a groundbreaking discovery in like how the brain like perceives things. Like there's a lot of sections in this book that talk about how plastic the brain is. And plasticity of the brain is basically like the brain changing and stuff, or like how malleable or how changeable the brain is. I don't even know if changeable is a word. But yeah, another cool little thing I learned. Okay. This is cool. So the animal kingdom, right? can be divided into two categories. Where you have specialists and opportunists. And this pertains to like how they survive and like how they like get the things that they need, like how they hunt or whatever. So like a specialist is like an animal who's really good at one thing. Like, so take for example an eagle. Like eagles can see really well, like they're really good hunters or whatever. And so they rely on that skill of like their sight and being able to be precise in their hunting, like so they're specialists. Whereas humans, we are opportunistic. We don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna get it how we live. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was interesting. I might look into that a little bit more and see like what other type of animals like fall into each category. The Great Yield. It's okay. So the Great Yield was also in this book. It's on page 214. Let me see, because I don't remember what it was. 214. Let me find it, y'all. Let me find it. Yeah, creative endeavors. So it got something to do with creativity. It's genetically still sorry, young and experience. Oh, okay. So it got something to do with like, basically when you want to solve a problem, so there's two different ways to go about it. And the way like most people will go about it, or like somebody who's young and inexperienced, they have this one goal and they try to, so this like they'll have the point in mind and then they'll start here. Like say they want to get a bunch of money or whatever. And then they'll try to do things that'll get them a lot of money. But what like the endeavor of the Great Yield is, you don't really know where you're going. You just follow like your interests or like whatever interests you and like what you find like, you know, and then you follow that and then you like trailblaze a path to whatever you're trying to get to. And that typically yields greater results, which is why it's called the Great Yield. Stuff like that. A random fact. Kitty, North Carolina. I'm from South Carolina. And I've never heard of this town. But Kitty, North Carolina has the strongest winds in the United States. And because that's where, if you know who the Wright brothers are, the dudes that really perfected like flying, that's where they went to like test their, like prototypes of like flying and stuff. So when they was going through the process of like learning how to fly, they noticed how everybody else was like, they would focus on like just getting in the air. You know what I'm saying? They would spend a lot of money on like all this fancy bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And they'll get up in the air and that'll get a lot of people to invest in them, but they could never fly and actually gain. They couldn't collect data on what it's like to actually be in the air because they only focused on getting up in the air. You know what I'm saying? So the Wright brothers, they really focused on actually testing things themselves. That's another thing. The other people who had like a lot more money than them, because the Wright brothers didn't have that much money, they focused on like the best this and the best that and like just buying a bunch of shit and then getting somebody else to fly. Well, the Wright brothers, they was like hands-on with every part of the process and they actually flew the planes themselves, so they like really knew what it was like. So and that's really why they really beat everybody else in like figuring out how to fly, because they were hands-on with everything. They were like first person with it. And some more, that leads into my next point. So the Wright brothers, they actually had no high school diploma. They didn't graduate high school. And they started off like the first thing, so their dad, he would like bring them little trinkets and stuff because their dad was like a part of some like in the government or something. He would go like a bunch of different places. and he would bring them back little like knickknacks and trinkets and stuff, and they would like take them apart. So they really knew about like the mechanics of how things work, and they would like modify them and stuff. So the first thing they really made like a real practical use was like a printing machine, like a printing press, because their dad needed to print out copies of like some pamphlet he had or something. So I feel like that was like a cool fact. Like the first thing they made was like a printing press. And but it was like they made it out of a bunch of, because they was little boys, they made it out of a bunch of like little bullshit, like rusty shit they found in the backyard and all kind of stuff. And then they also had like a bicycle business. I didn't know that as well. And that they made bikes, and they had like the best bikes around, because like they had an extensive knowledge of mechanics and how things work and how to make the riding process a lot better. So people really like their bikes and stuff. And then that knowledge of bikes helped them better understand the planes. So another thing about when they were learning how to fly, so when other people were designing their planes, they were going at it from the angle of, what's the word I'm looking for? They were comparing like flying a plane to navigating a boat or whatever. And that really wasn't the right analogy. And the Wright brothers looked at it more similar to riding a bike, because everybody else was looking at the plane like, oh, it got to be stiff and rigid and fly in a straight line and this, that, and the third. Whereas the Wright brothers was like, nah, like flying a plane is more like a bike. It's like, in essence, it's just naturally unstable like a bike. Like a bike don't just stand up by itself. You know what I'm saying? You got to ride it. So that was another cool little thing I learned. Okay, so the next thing I have is the importance of studying adjacent fields. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're learning something, it can pay great dividends to look at a field that is adjacent or, you know, in the realm of whatever you're doing. So like, let's say you learn how to cut hair or whatever, and you want to get your fade better. You might study art to learn gradients and things like that. Or like you might study drawing or something like that. Or if, let's say, so I was reading up on the CEO of this company I found named Viva Systems, right? I was doing some research on it. So what he did was, so Viva Systems is a CRM, customer relationship management platform for like the life sciences. So like basically medicine and biotech and stuff like that. So his thing was software, like his product was software based, but he would learn things from people who provided hardware to like different hospitals and like or whatever too. You know, like studying adjacent fields. Or like, who was it, like Leonardo da Vinci or something? I don't know. I knew a couple of other ones. I don't want to mix it up. But or if you do music, like if you notice, like a lot of the most versatile artists or the best artists in the game, they listen to all kinds of music. Like YoungBoy listen to all types of music. I'm pretty sure Beyonce listen to all types of music. You know what I'm saying? Rollo Rodriguez, he's a very versatile person. He listens to all kinds of music. If you ever see like on their story, like randomly, they'll be listening to some like the most random stuff. Like they might be listening to some rock. Like Lil Wayne, I'm pretty sure Lil Wayne listens to like a lot of different kinds of music. You know what I'm saying? Or there was another guy, he played the piano, but he looked into like people like playing the saxophone and stuff like that. You know? Adjacent fields can extend your knowledge, or like I'll give you a different perspective of like whatever you're doing. Cool fact. So $500 in 1926 is equivalent to $8,568. And I got that from there was this lady, I can't remember her name, but she was a dancer, and she was really good at what she did. And she was like dancing with the studio, right? But when it came time for her to like move on, she wanted to do something else. Basically, the people who she was learning stuff from, they was hating on her. And they was like, oh, if you want to move on and do whatever, if you want to teach this, you got to pay us $500. But this was in 1926. Or like they was going to like get her for like plagiarism or something. So I was like, $500 in 1926. I was like, I wonder what that is now. They was like 8 racks. I was like, shit. All right, man. 8 racks is a lot of money for like the most regular person. Cause like, you know, most people ain't that well off. So like, that's a lot of money to just be like, oh, you know, to just throw on somebody, be like, if you want to do this, that was some hating ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Some little hating ass shit. Oh, random fact. So there's a bump on the side of the knuckle of the index finger that allows people to grasp things at the center of your hand with more power. So your index finger, and I assume the bump will be like right here. And I learned that because there was this girl, and she was like, she was in school, and she was working on like this robot, and she was like, she wanted to build the hand for the robot. So she studied like a lot of anatomy and like the mind-hand connection and like how to make it better, whatever. It's like a whole story behind it because she had like tennis too. And she just learned that about the hand, like little cool stuff. I can't remember her name though. I should have wrote it down. Oh, if you know what the Rosetta Stone is, and actually let me just look it up so I can give a definition. Because some people might not know what it is, and I might not explain it the best way. So, the Rosetta Stone is a stele of granodiorite inscribed with 3 versions of a decree issued in 196 BC during the, I don't even know that word. It's one of the dynasties of Egypt on behalf of King whatever. And so basically it like had 3 different texts on it. So the Rosetta Stone like just had a couple different languages on it. And so like there was like this race to like translate the Rosetta Stone, like figure out the couple of languages on it. But so I always knew what it was, but I didn't know that the Rosetta Stone was actually discovered by Napoleon Bonaparte. Well, not by Napoleon Bonaparte, but one of his like soldiers, because they was overtaking like they was trying to overtake Egypt or whatever. And like one of the guys was digging, like trying to put something out there, and he hit it, and he found the Rosetta Stone or whatever. So yeah. Oh, okay. So another random thing. There's a god, a Greek god. I think it's a Greek god. His name is Thoth or whatever, and he is the god of. So, God Thoth, or Thoth, I don't know how you pronounce it. He is the god of writing, wisdom, magic, the moon, order and justice, and healing. I just thought that was cool. Like just random pieces of information. Like I said, man, I'm here to give random information, give game, because you never know. Like you might find something interesting. You might think of it at another time. Shit, you might put it in a song. You feel me? You might write some music and, you know, whatever. Or like it might come up in a conversation. Like I remember I was at work, so I'm in tech or whatever. And so I was about to do a demo the other day. The customer didn't end up showing up, but there were 2 other guys from our company that I had never met before. And they were on the call and we were talking. So, and we started talking about like where we lived and like traveling and things. And we started talking about Oregon. Well, no, the guy, he was like, oh, I just left from Canada or whatever. And he was talking about the wine up there. And I was like, oh, because I was just I'm looking into taking a trip to Oregon later next year. And I was talking to one of my old managers when I first had the idea, and he was telling me how Oregon is wine country. And like they have a lot of good wine out there. So that little piece of knowledge came up in the conversation. And it was cool to be able to have something to say and add to the conversation and like have a dialogue back and forth. Because you don't ever want to be the person in the room who just don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be the person with nothing to add to the conversation. You want to be knowledgeable about the world and like be able to have some input, you know what I'm saying? Be able to offer a perspective on things. You don't ever want to be the dumb person in the room, bro. You don't want to do that. Oh, okay. So another random piece of information. So in France in the 1880s, salons, like a hair salon, right? Think about a hair salon. But the original purpose of salons in France in 1880, it was for the gathering of like-minded people to discuss literary and philosophical ideas, but they were typically ran by women. So I can see how the transition, like a salon, but that's originally what they were for in France, to talk about politics and philosophy and stuff. I mean, or like literature. I didn't know that. the Cambrian explosion is something I wanted to educate y'all on. Well, not really educate y'all on, but it's just like something I learned about. So the Cambrian explosion, and I just looked it up. It got this funny picture that came out. I don't know what the hell that is. But the Cambrian explosion is an interval of time approximately 538 million years ago in the Cambrian period of the early Paleozoic, when a sudden radiation of complex life occurred and practically all major animal phyla. I'm going to write that down. That's going to be a word of the day. Phyla. Yeah. Free game. Started appearing in the fossil record. It lasted for about 13 to 25 million years and resulted in the divergence of most modern metazoan phyla. Metazoan. I might look that up later on. The event was accompanied by major diversification to other groups of organisms as well. So the Cambrian explosion is basically when a lot of animals of today started popping up on Earth, like me and you. Well, not me and you, but we obviously evolved from different things, but you know. Okay, this was a quote by Albert Einstein. Oh, that's who it was. I think that's who it was, with the dude who had the homeboy with the stink ass apples in his drawer. I think it was Albert Einstein, not Thomas Edison. It was one of them two. But he said, the intuitive mind, my fault. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. And we have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Albert Einstein. So the rational mind is like the mind who thinks in like rules and like constraints and thinks very conventionally. And the intuitive mind is basically like the power of like your mind to think outside the box and like conceptualize things outside of like what's already going on. You know what I'm saying? And they say that's a gift. And we live in a world today where people just conform. You know what I'm saying? Random fact. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. Did not know that. Another random fact. It's common for autistic children, and this is the last thing. Oh shit. The last thing. It is common for autistic children to be overwhelmed from being hugged by other humans. So I also learned in this book, Mastery. A lot of stuff I got out of this. A lot of stuff I talked about today, I got out of this book. Honestly, it's an interesting book. But yeah. So there was this girl. She had autism, right? And she had like this strange connection to animals. And they found out where it came from was like she thought in like pictures. Like whenever she heard something, she had to like convert it into like pictures in her mind first before she like could like understand what it meant. And like animals think that way, or like at least cattle do think that way as well. So that's how she can connect to them or whatever. And like a part of her brain, like there's like this fear part of the brain that kind of got smaller in people over time, but hers was like still big as fuck. So she could connect with the animals and stuff. And so she would like go to these ranches and like see how they would like do the cattle and like put them in this press machine. And it'll like make the animals like feel calm when they were like giving them injections and like vaccinating them and stuff. And she would like always want to get into shit because it'll like squeeze her and make her feel good, like calm her down. Because getting a hug from a person would like overwhelm her and stuff. So yeah, man, that's everything I got for today. Hope y'all found it interesting, man. Tune in every Friday, man. Access granted, man. Up your knowledge, gang. Facts.